A question for you, friends. Did you ever, about your 10, 12, that feeling of being so amazed or shocked by a sound? I did. It happened to me. Was a day I was hanging out with my grandmother in the center of my town, and in a square we met a musical band from Central America, and for the first time ever I have heard a special sound, those magical flutes and that quick beating lightly over drum set. After watching those very back in time silly western movie that describe the reality actually not really how the real reality was. Anyway, close parenthesis. When was about the time to introduce the arrival of native warriors, you heard like a far echo the sound of marvelous and powerful drums. So, what do you think Linda might have loved in the beginning of her being teenager? Drums, of course. And you know why? In common of me, maybe you have felt those shivers hair up, because it's an atavic call, a call from our ancestors, because you have to think about. I think that every group of human at the beginning, when they were alone exploring and going hunting and fishing and searching for a place safe for their family, every one of them must have been that feeling of loneliness. And so, for facing that silence and fear too, they sort of had the need to invent something, some art, music, a primitive sort of music. And during their activities, of course, they discovered that all the elements in nature may produce a sound, like every rock, every stones, and even little branch and even plants, simple green plants. Did you remember when we were child, when we used to remove the top of a plant with a long conic leaf, peeling the outside and blowing the air inside to produce a sound? Okay, this is one sound. Anyway, every rock may produce a different note, and you can create a melody beating several different rocks with your hand or with another tool. So, what do you think Linda might have loved as music? A band in the early 80s called Police, because they Ransamble, may I say ransamble? Racchiudevano, they put together rock, punk, reggae. So, of course, I was kind of addicted to them. Their music was like a drug for me, and of course, I loved so much the drummer, Mr. Maestro Stuart Copeland, and unluckily, I could not participate to the concert they had in Rome, because in that period I was wearing, for the very first period I had to, a awful corset made of plastic and iron, and I should have been easily pushed and smashed by the crowds of people excited in attending the concert, so I had to renounce. But I had to do something about, because I missed them, because they, after, unluckily, they broke up. And I did the very first portrait of my life with pencil to Mr. Stewart, but because one day I was hanging out with friends and I was absent from home many hours without thinking about calling at home saying I'm okay, I went there and I will come back at, I totally forgot, as other previously time. So my mom decided to have a revenge. And the most precious things I had at that time were the music cassette and posters and the portrait of Stuart. So she decided to rip it. I discovered time later and was a tragedy. But 2 years ago I have had my revenge because I create a second portrait. I remember, was a beautiful photograph of him, half in the shadow and half in the light. So enjoy my original masterpiece of my 18 years old. I hope you can see it enough good. Yeah, is there some similarities with Stuart's face? And even this little touch of dark dark circle under the eyes, that is the proof of being exhausted of hours and hours of playing with his band. And charming. Ciao.